Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so the primary way I'm still looking at this as a corrective move, looking at this as a bigger WX and looking for this Y wave to the downside. Now the one-to-one target here of this is this 24,229. Now there is also the potential that we could still be within this X wave and we could still be looking for a move to the upside, looking to actually target out this 29,780 to this 28,270 range. Now if we are looking to actually have this bigger push to the upside here, we could have this as a bigger flat correction. Now if the X wave is still in play, what we are looking for is the potential that this is an A wave. We're looking to complete a B wave, which has some common target areas here. We've met the minimum requirement of this already by coming down past this 25,811. So it is possible we could actually see this directly push up, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We don't have good structure though on the smaller time frame, which we're going to go over in a second, for this to actually play out at the moment, but we can actually see it happen if this is developing a series of 1s and 2s in here. So we're going to go over that in a minute, but what I'm looking for here is there is also the potential that we could actually have this as an A, B, and a C, and we could actually still look to push down one more time here, looking for this all to actually be within this B wave. Now if this is the case, what we would want to see is something along these lines where we're treating this as a W, an X, and a Y. Now it is also possible that the X wave could be over here and we could have the Y wave complete in a C wave. The problem with having this as a C wave to the downside, so this is looking for that Y wave to play out directly without the bigger push to the upside. Now the problem that we have within this count here is that currently we don't have good structure here as a 5-wave move. And now if we wanted to say that we're going to get a 5-wave move here, we'd have to argue two things. We could say that this could become 1, 2, and then we'd be looking for a 3-wave move for a wave 3, 4, and 5, forming a contracting diagonal to the downside, which is possible. And what we'd then be looking for is effectively this high to hold here and then to start forming another 3-wave structure to the downside here for this wave 3. Now if this is the case, effectively our wave 3 would not be allowed to cross the 1-to-1 of the wave 1, which would actually be down here at this 24,665. So what we'd be looking for is a 3-wave move that breaks this low but does not cross this 24,665, and then we'd be looking for a 3-wave up and another 3-wave move to the downside. So this is possible, but you know, it's hard to say at the moment because this move is just looking corrective. Now alternatively, what we could actually say is that we're looking to break down from there, in which case we'd be looking for something like this, where this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'd get an additional 4th and a 5th. Now, target area for this would be looking for this 23,987 as a possible 3rd wave target. And what we'd then be saying is that within this count, we'd be looking at this as a wave 2 completed. And what we'd be saying is that we're going to start to look to break down. Once again, the problem is at the moment, we don't have good structure to the downside here to say this is an impulse. We could argue that within this count, what we could have is 1, 2, 1, 2, but then we'd need to see a deeper move down, and we'd want to see this 1618 coming in at this 25,371. But realistically, for us to actually see this as a 5-wave move down, you're looking for this 3rd wave. We'd probably need to see something come in more towards the zone of this 2.618 for this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'd get another 4th and a 5th, which would take us down there. So this is possible, but we need to actually see price look to break down in a bigger way here to confirm this. Like I said, that target is here, that's 23,987, looking for that potential of a 4th, 5th, then another 4th and a 5th, which would be looking to bring us down towards this 23,430 to this 23,039. Now what we need to be careful of is that if we do start to break down too deep here, what we could then end up having here is a bigger breakdown from further back, where these become a series of 1s and 2s, and we could actually be looking at this move as a bigger 5-wave move to the downside. Now the bigger 5-wave move to the downside would actually be looking at this move in this way, where we'd be treating this as a 1, 2, and then actually looking for confirmation by a breakdown towards this 22,346 level. So if we start to break down bigger here, what this could then put us in is the situation where we actually have a bigger 5-wave move from further back here, and then we'd actually be looking to potentially target out this zone of this 21,290 to this 20,431. So we'd need to be careful. If we start to break down towards these levels, you know, we could actually see this extending out. Now if it extended out even deeper, what we could actually see is this 19,339 as a possible 2.618 target. So that could be potentially where this fifth wave looks to end up in relation to this wave one. So we're going to have to just be a bit patient with this one. This is still a possibility, but at the moment the move down is looking still corrective. We need to see if we continue to form that possibility of ones and twos here, we could actually start to see a bigger breakdown come in at a later point. Okay, so back to this count here. If we are looking for this Y wave, we need to see this complete as A, B, and then have a 5-wave move for this Y wave to complete it as a C wave. Alternatively, if we are looking at this as a B wave, what we could have is that instead of looking at this as A, B, and then C, what we could see is this actually be a W, an X, and a Y. And this could mean that instead of looking for that possibility of a 5-wave move here, what we could actually get is just a 3-wave move to the downside. Now, as a 3-wave move would be potentially completed already here towards this 50%. Now, we're going to go over the micro count here in a second, but it is also possible we could still see a push up here towards this 786, which would be at this 26,943, or alternatively into this golden pocket, which would bring us back into this channel, as well as potentially looking to retest some of these areas over here towards this 26,662 to this 26,596. So keep an eye on this. If we do see one more push to the upside here, we could actually still be within this B wave. Now, if we are within this B wave, what we'd then be looking for is, you know, this to complete, and then we'd be looking for a 5-wave move to the downside. Now, this would then potentially look to actually push us down into this lower zone here of this 24,870. And this would then tie in with that idea that we could still have this as a bigger flat correction, where we actually look to then push up towards this zone of this 29,669 to this 28,588. So this is still possible as an expanding flat here. We need to just be aware that if we start to develop a 5-wave move to the upside, it is possible this could still be part of this bigger correction, looking for this X wave to come up into this zone of this 29,780 to this 28,270 zone. Okay, so let's get into the smaller time frame stuff here. Now, if we come right in here, what we're looking for is that the potential within this structure is either this is completed or it is not completed. Now, we were talking about this move in this way yesterday. We were saying this could be W and X wave as a triangle. Now, this Y wave 1-to-1 is actually up here at this 26,682. Now, it is possible we could still be within this Y wave where this becomes an A, this becomes a B, and then we actually start to form a 5-wave structure to the upside where this becomes 1-2, 1-2, then we get a 3-4-5, 4-5, and we could actually look to come back up into this channel here, and we could actually look to push back up into this zone here of this 26,682. Now, this would be valid for as long as we hold this 25,702, and the next thing that I want to see here is actually to see this low hold here of this 25,813, and then I'd want to see price actually move up past this 26,242. This would then put us in that situation where we could argue this is 1, 2, 3, we'd get a 4th and a 5th, then we'd get another 4th and a 5th, and what we'd be looking to target out here would actually be these yellow target areas here. So the 1-to-1 would actually be here if this is going to be a running flat at this 26,345. Alternatively, here between this 1-2-3-6 and this 1-6-1-8, we could actually see this come in as a expanding flat. So if we did see this develop as 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5, this could look to bring us up towards that 1-to-1 and then bring us into that possible rejection area of this as a B wave, looking to bring us up into that 0.618 sort of area. So I'll be keeping an eye on these highs that we have here on the left. If we do actually see a move up here, interaction with the channel, look to swing fail these highs, that could actually indicate we have that continuation come in to the downside from that point for this lower C wave, which would actually then look to take us down towards this 24,636 level. So need to keep an eye on that if we see price move up in this way. Now, alternatively, what we could also argue here is that if we are still in that B wave, we could actually see this move still play out in a bigger corrective move here, where the whole move here is A. So what we'd be arguing here is that this would be W, X, and then this would be Y. And then from here, we have this as an A, this is a B, and then looking for this as a C wave. Now, if we look to take this low here of this 25,358, what we could then have is that this is A, B, and then we're looking for this flat once again. And then this would mean that we actually sweep these lows and look to potentially move down towards this 25,345. Now, if we do move up slightly higher here, this will change our target as well. So this is our rejection box for this lower term B wave here. So if we see price do this A, B, C, we could actually look to come back into this trend line here. and actually look to move back into the golden pocket of this 26178 area before looking for this C wave to the downside. Now that C wave could look to take us down towards this 25345, like I said, off our current location. If we did have to push to the upside here towards this 618, that would probably align more with coming back into the zone of this 854 here of this 25,512. So if we do see this happen, see a push back up here and then a continuation down, I'd be on the lookout for that possibility that we could have a flat correction here. Now, depending on where we actually come from, if we say that this is a B wave completed already here, our 1-to-1 is here at this 26,802. If we did come down slightly lower here and we went towards this 854 region, that 1-to-1 would then be here towards this 26,592. And then we'd be looking for the potential, if we do actually take this low here, we'd have a different target area as an irregular flat. Now that irregular flat target area, the 1-to-1 would be a good zone of interest because of the relationship to this A wave high. That would be potentially looking for this as a flat where we actually look to come back into this 1-to-1 having a running flat here. Alternatively, if it does actually develop into a bigger 5-wave move off the back of this, what we could see is price actually gravitated towards 27,106 to this 26,679. Now this would be looking at an expanding flat, and in which case we would then be still looking at this idea that this is A, this is B, and still looking for that as a C wave, all looking to become part of that bigger B wave. The key thing here though is, like I said, we've already hit this 50% here. So if we start to develop a move to the downside in a 5-wave move, then we could actually be looking for the C wave playing out directly. And the only way we could look at this potentially as a move that could be looking to break out, and it would be very low confidence, would be we would have to say that this was 1 as a diagonal, this was 2. Then we'd have to say that within here we have this as another 1, 2, but this would invalidate by crossing this low here of this 25,652. And what we'd want to see here for actually more confidence in this fact would actually be a move up towards this 1618, which would be the $27,000 area. And then we could start to argue that within here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'd have this potentially as another 1, 2. And then they would actually be looking for that direct break to the upside, looking for this as a bigger ABC pattern. So, it's not invalidated yet, this idea of this is an A, this B, and then looking for the C wave where we could look to still push up here towards this 27,405. But it really needs to get going if this is the case, because at the moment this is looking very corrective, and we'd expect this to start to, get a bigger impulsive move here for this C wave if it is going to play out. Moving below this 25,351 would invalidate this idea as a zigzag here. But we could potentially still argue that even if we do take this low, this could be A, we could still have this as a bigger B, and then we could still see a C wave in this way. But I think if we do break down one more time here, it becomes more likely that if it is going to be a flat, it's going to be from further back here. Just given the time proportion here, it would make a lot more sense to me. Looking at the monthly CPR, we can see that we are currently still above the R1 line. If we did move back down here, I'd be keeping an eye on this as this 25,418 as a potential zone that we could look to retest. Now, alternatively, if we look to break down, we have the R2 line sitting here at this 23,604. We have the R3 line at this 21,397. If, however, we do look to push to the upside, I am still going to be keeping an eye on these central CPR lines. We have a zone here of this 27,817 to this 27,404, which could potentially offer us resistance if we do look to move back to the upside here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this zone. If we do see price actually move back up here, we're keeping an eye to see if we get that rejection off the top of the channel here, and then potentially looking to retest some of those Ichimoku cloud areas. However, as unlikely as it is, if we do see a move up towards this 1618 here, we could actually have this as a 1, 2, this a bigger third, fourth, and then we'd be looking for this 5th wave target here towards the zone of this 29,596 to this 29,065 area. This would bring us into the S1 line. So if we do actually see a move up here, I'd be keeping an eye on this 29,422, and then if we do see price push up higher, we have the 31,617 as the S2, we have the 33,407 as the S3. Keep an eye on those levels. Now if we do actually come down here onto the weekly CPR, what we can actually see here is that within this we are currently sitting underneath these central CPR lines. So what I want to see is that if we continue to reject off this zone, we could actually see price be gravitated towards this R1 at this 25,211, the R2 at this 24,172, and the R3 lower down here towards this 23K region. Now, if we do see price fall down in this way, this would probably indicate that we're extending out in that 1-2-1-2 situation where we're actually looking for a bigger 5-wave move down. If however we do start to break back above these and start to regain this central channel line here, and then potentially looking to regain these central CPRs, what we could actually see is price be gravitated towards this 27,000 area, this 28,250, and this higher range of this 29,147. Having a look at the Ichimoku cloud here, we can see that we are currently sitting within the cloud now. If we do continue to hold this as support here, potentially what we could see is price move back to the upside and look to find support above this. Alternatively, if we continue to reject off this conversion line and this baseline, which we could see here at this 25,930 and this 26k, what we could see is price start to break down. So this is what I'm keeping an eye on, really short term here. So I want to see whether we can actually maintain this zone here as a support, and then looking to break to the upside, looking for that continuation. Coming here onto the 4-hourly, what we can see is that we are rejected off this conversion line and we rejected previously off the baseline. If we see price move back to the upside here, I would be keeping an eye on the bottom of this cloud here, which is currently sitting towards this 26,486 directly above us, but then depending on how long this takes, potentially we could actually look to interact rather here towards this 26,241. If we do move up higher, we do have the top of the cloud at this 26,903, which could offer us potential resistance, which would tie into that idea of that WX and that Y. So keep an eye on that level if we do actually move up there. Now coming into the 8-hourly, we have the conversion line at this 2687. We have this 26,903 as the baseline. So once again, that same idea of coming back up here in a 3-wave move could be quite interesting as a potential rejection point, either off this cloud or off this baseline. If we do see price move back up into the channel, this also ties into this idea of retesting the 8-hourly cloud. So keep an eye on that. Now on the daily, what we can see here is that we still have this line below us towards this 25,274. If we do see price push down here, I'd be interested to see how we react here. Potentially if we just get a small sweep of these lows here, that could potentially be enough to complete this as a B, and then looking for that C wave. So gonna have to keep a little bit of an eye on this and see whether we actually push down here, and then see whether we get that corrective move to the upside again, or whether this actually looks to complete a bigger move. Now if we do fail to hold this zone, what this could mean is we could start to see a bigger breakdown, and we could see price actually move through this, come back, retest the cloud, and then look to break down in a bigger way. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.